What's happening, Creation Grounds? I'm your host, Aaron Lloyd, and this is episode 40. Before I get into our next guest, I just want to encourage you to like, subscribe, share with people who you think will benefit from it, be inspired, be encouraged, be educated, entertained. Our next guest is Khalil Kain, and you know him from movies like Juice, for Colored Girls, you know him from the show Girlfriends, you know him from Love Jones, you know him from many movies, TV shows, and he's heavily involved in theater as well. In this episode, we talk about a little bit of his on-set experience with working with Pac on Juice and working in Girlfriends and Love Jones, and talk a little bit about his career. We talk about his latest work, which is a play called Lambs to Slaughter. We talk about the Negro Ensemble Company and the late great Charles Weldon, who was the artistic director of the Negro Ensemble Company. We talk about, and he gives some advice for up-and-coming actors as they navigate the industry and how we have to look out for one another, and just gem after gem after gem. You just spit knowledge. Enjoy this episode with Khalil Kain. Welcome to another episode of the Creation Grounds. I have Khalil Kain, a cultural legend, and some cultural hits. What's up, Khalil?
What's happening, man? How you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm happy to have you on.
Excellent. It's good to see you.
What would you describe your childhood as being like, growing up in New York?
Man. So we're talking about like the late 70s, early 80s, you know? It was dangerous. I come from a poor family. I lived in a single-parent home. I think back then, as a community, we were better about policing ourselves and taking care of our kids. I mean, we did it sort of collectively. There were three of my friends, three of my close friends that I knew for a fact their parents had privileges as far as being able to discipline me. They had permission from my mother, you know what I mean, that if they saw me acting crazy, that they could put me in my place. And you knew that. So as kids, we always felt that like somebody was watching. Back then the streets was watching for real. So we got into the trouble we were going to get in, but at the same time, we felt like we had a certain level of protection from our neighborhood. Which was, I said, I grew up in the East Village, here in Manhattan. So, it was different back then, though.
Yeah, it's like I feel like there was community watching out for the kids. It takes a village, so there's definitely more of that.
No doubt, but I mean, even now, my mother had me when she was 17, so I have, 3 moms, 4 moms. Women now that still claim, they're like, that's my son. That's just, it is what it is.
Yeah. Your father was part of the original Last Poets. So
yes, Khalil Kain.
And what lesson, growing up with somebody like that, what lesson has he taught you in your youth that resonates with you today, that you still carry with you? Either by his example or by words that he's spoken to you.
Time ain't nothing but a river.
Time ain't nothing.
Time ain't nothing but a river moving through an empty hand. You can hold on if you wanna, but Lord, when the shit hits the fan. Khalil Kain wrote that.
Wow.
And that is something that has stuck with me. The original Last Poets were Khalil Kain, Felipe Luciano, and David Nelson. Felipe is still very present in my life. I've known Felipe since I was 5, 6 years old. They were young men back then, and their voices held passion and power. They told stories that they were making up on the fly. It was brilliant stuff. But you're talking about a smaller audience compared to how we can impact and approach sort of a larger range of people now through social media. So with that being said, the fact that people still speak their name or talk about them as an entity means that what they created was important to the culture.
Absolutely. And I didn't know this, but in preparing for this, I heard that you have some skills in the rink. So Tell me about like back in the day at the Roxy. Like,
Oh, I thought you said in the ring. Like,
oh, boxing, no. I'm sure you got some hands too, but
you were talking about the skating rink.
yeah.
Quiet as kept. That's how I got into show business.
Really?
Yeah. Back in 1980, 1981, there wasn't really anybody messing with me, out here. I worked at the Roxy, which was the hottest roller disco in the country. I performed there opening night. I was 15
Wow.
at the time. They hired me on as a skate guard, as an instructor, and as a performer. So for all the private parties, private events, I would perform. All the VIPs, I would give them lessons or whatever, show them around. Getting that job, when I walked in, the owner, Steven Greenberg, said, well, this isn't like a roller skating rink. This is a nightclub. So you're too young. I'm sorry. I was like, hold up. I was told you wanted the best. That's why I came. He
Right.
said, you're the best. I was like, yeah, I'm the best. He was like, did you bring your skates? I was like, yes, I did. He was like, cool. Well, I guess the floor is yours. He said, did you bring some music? I said, tell the DJ to play whatever he wants. I'm about to throw down. And as soon as I was done, he was like, you're doing the show tonight.
Wow.
And then, again, 15 years old, I performed that night in front of, I don't know, maybe 800,000 people, at this spot. Very much a VIP audience. I smashed it. We didn't talk. I was a kid. I just wanted to perform. We didn't talk money or anything like that. So at the end of the night, I performed. I killed it. I was talking to the woman who ran their skate shop there because I was looking at some new equipment, and he walked in because that was amazing, man. Really great job. I love it. I went to see what you do next. He put $500 in my hand. Five $100 bills in my hand.
Wow.
At 15 in 1980, bruh, I was like, yo, it's going down. So I was there for a couple of years, and I got my SAG card because I did some commercials. I got to travel to Brazil. I opened a string of roller rinks out there because they saw my show in New York, so I went to Rio, Sao Paulo, Belo Horizonte. This is at 16.
Wow.
And I got a trip to Naples and Rome, went to perform out there. It really exposed me to the best DJs in New York at the time. Music all the time, performing live in front of people. It was a turning point for me. I learned a lot back then. And strangely enough, I have no tape of that time. It's just sort of legend, passed mouth to mouth. People that saw me do my thing back then, it's the only way to attest to what I was doing, But one thing led to another. It's that thing of kind of getting bit by the bug. Once you get one standing ovation, it's it's over. Yeah, so, like in Brazil, when we were in Belo Horizonte, I think there were 3,000 people there.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was like 2 levels. So it felt, and as a kid and in another country, I never experienced anything like that. And I blew their mind. I remember I skated to Funkin' for Jamaica, and tore it down. They didn't know what happened. It was great. But for me, as far as building confidence and getting an understanding of like who I am and what I'm capable of, I think that went a far way in helping to propel me into what was next.
Wow. And you're a great artist. You've been in some cultural hits. What would you say is the last movie that has moved you, or TV show that's moved you personally as an artist?
Pushy Valley right now on Stars.
Yeah.
3 episodes have dropped, and I think it's really fly. Have you seen Pushy Valley yet?
No, I saw the trailer. I know it's by a playwright. In
Tory Hall.
Yeah, Tory Hall, yeah.
Now, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, I was leaving an audition. I was out by Lincoln Center, and I popped into this restaurant to get a bite to eat afterwards and look at some other stuff. And I look up, and Katori Hall is sitting across the dining room, and she's got her laptop out, and she's just eating. Earlier that year, I had worked with her on a short film that she did, Margaret Butler, about a rodeo cowboy. And so, I got up and just sat down at her table, and she looked up. She was so engrossed in what she was doing. She was just like some black man just sat down. She was like, yeah. She's like, oh, Khalil, what's up? Oh my God, hey. So I'm telling her, like, what you working on? She was like, this TV deal I'm trying to get done. She was talking about Pussy Valley. So for a playwright, a sister, to be able to take something that she put on stage years ago, conceptually turn it into a TV show, and then execute it with the networks and be able to get it produced is a huge thing. People see this stuff all the time, and they don't understand how many hoops are involved
to get it done.
To your TV set.
Yeah.
It took her years. So I was really curious to see what the end product was going to be. Not only did she create it and get it there, but she's the showrunner.
Which is a big deal.
I think she expanded her vision. She kept her control over the project artistically, which is amazing. Katori, if you don't know her, is an amazing being. The show is fire, man. Like, just the look of it, the language of it. And I'm not a stripper club dude. Like, that's not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
This takes place at a strip club. But it's about people. Like, the wide range of people that are in our universe. She's empowered these women that are without a doubt marginalized and demonized in our society. And I think that's something that's always interesting to me, is to take that demon and show the angel in them. And I think Katori has done this in a very intriguing way. And also, the music is fire. It looks amazing. The language is authentic and imagined. She really stretches the boundaries of and forces people that are not familiar with this culture to really listen. Because if they don't, they're not going to understand what the hell they're saying. And this is something that has gone back and forth from culture to culture ad infinitum. You know, I need to understand what you're saying. And these people are speaking English. It's dope, man. I really dig it. It looks great. And there's some really, really interesting characters. I think she's empowered these special women in a way that I have not seen yet on television. It's different.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah.
Let's talk Juice, man.
Let's do that.
What are your top 3 memories from on set? From being on set?
Wow. My top 3 memories from being on set. I brought a lady friend of mine up to the set to kind of show off because I'm a movie star now.
Uh-huh.
This is my first real joint, you know. So I'm like, yo, let me milk this for all it's worth. So I'll bring this young lady up to the set. You know, I'm not even working that day. I'm just bringing her up to kind of show her around and let her see what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
As we start to get to the top of this hill, Pop, this kid Stretch, and another kid was stomping this other dude out.
Damn.
Like, straight up. The kid was from the neighborhood. Pop had kind of befriended him, and he stole some jewelry out of Pac's trailer.
Damn.
So he had to catch that beat down. But she thought it was like part of the movie. You know, she thought they were filming. So I was like, nah, come here. come this way. That was crazy. I think at lunch, watching Tretch from Naughty by Nature and Pac exchange rhyme books, which was something that they did often during lunch. They were both always writing. I mean, Naughty by Nature hadn't even dropped an album yet at that point. As a matter of fact, I heard a demo that Tretch passed me just to kind of get a gauge of what I thought. And I was like, yo, y'all about to blow up. This song's gonna be great. Are you kidding? It's like, for real. It's like, yo, this is out. It was, you know, and it was a huge hit. But they would kind of exchange books, rhyme books, and they critique each other's rhymes. And
that's dope.
I loved the trust and bond that builds artistically. I see too many people that are afraid to share their work out of some funky sense of ego. They were like brothers. They trusted each other, and steel sharpened steel. You know what I mean? So hearing them kind of critique each other's rhymes was a lot of fun. And it warmed my heart only because I was older than them, and to see like younger cats really behaving in an elevated manner made me feel good. It gave me optimism. It made me think like we're moving in the right direction. So that was fly. And then just working with Ernest Dickerson. I think for that to be my first film, we were spoiled. Ernest was very skilled, and I mean, as far as his eye from being like cinematographer for all of those iconic films, but he's just an amazing human being. He's really a sensitive person, a thoughtful person, a considerate person. So I think all of us were spoiled, you know, having that. Outside of Jermaine Hopkins, this was all our first big film. And Ernest took really good care of us. So that set sort of a precedent for me moving forward. You know, I really wasn't putting up with much less than that moving forward. I think it was helpful. And Ernest Dickerson is still a friend today, just because he's beautiful like that.
Yeah. That's dope, man. I mean, Juice has stood the test of time. It's been around. I was born. It came out in the '90s, so I was very young, but still saw it, and people are still talking about that movie, even like the new generation.
Still resonates, which is amazing.
Why do you think it stood the test of time like that? Besides the chemistry that you and the castmates had, and Ernest's eye, why do you think it's kind of stood the test of time?
I feel like it was so honest in its messaging. There was nothing sort of far-fetched about it, to the point where you tune out. You know what I mean? There's this indie film that I just got hired to do a rewrite on. So I did that and sent it back in, and that was part of what I was dealing with them. With their team was like, yo, this stuff needs to be honest, like real. Like, I don't know that this would actually happen or it would happen this way. Whatever you're presenting, present it in a way that an audience can buy in with no reservation. Juice was about kids. It wasn't about gangsters. It wasn't about hoodlums or drug dealers or anything. Like, these were just kids that hung out together. They were little kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think people responded to that because they can put themselves in their shoes of those characters. Either you know or you yourself are one of those four guys.
It's facts.
You know, every crew got those four guys. You know, so people immediately were able to kind of put themselves in that world and really ride with us through that story. We had no idea what we were making. So maybe Pop did. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard you tell this story once of how Pac said he was gonna be a millionaire, and you didn't believe him. Y'all was like, get out of here.
It wasn't that I didn't believe him. I just felt like he was talking shit.
Oh, got you.
And that's kind of far-fetched.
Yeah. It
like,
is.
Bruh, shut the fuck up. I mean, seriously, he was always talking shit. Like, back then, that's what it felt like. It was like, youngster, calm down. Stop running your fucking mouth. You always talking shit. Now, that was prophecy.
Yeah. That's facts, man. So tell me about the scene with... so the things kind of take a turn during this scene where Raheem and Pac get into and Bishop get into a scuffle. Tell me about that particular scene and what you guys did to prepare for that and the energy on set for that scene.
I mean, yo, we were young, but we were prepared. And what do you have to prepare for?
Yeah.
I know what that is. I'm sure you know what that is.
Yeah.
Now, go do it. Don't bullshit around. Don't play. Pac and myself, I mean, we're both very physical people. We had no problems getting into it. I think because of our friendship, because of how much fun we were having on the set of that film, we were having a really good time on time. I feel like the first couple of takes, I mean, I don't know, Pac wasn't really coming at me as direct as he needed to be. So I think it was maybe the third or fourth take while we were scuffling, I kind of spun him around and dropped him into these garbage cans. Kind of hard. After that, he was like, all right, cool, it's on now. I can't wait. I remember him saying, I can't wait to bust. And then the next couple of takes were fire. For me, that was the last shot of the day when we finished. The sun was coming up. Because I had been laying in a pool of blood on the ground, like I had gravel on my face and blood was everywhere. And I'm tired, wrapped. I got up and I walked into the trailer, and the first thing I saw was myself in the mirror. A big hole in my chest, blood all over my face. I don't know. I've said time and time again like that I don't watch that film often. I really don't. I can tell you the last time I saw it. And a lot of times I've mentioned that I don't like to watch it because, I see Pac.
Oh, yeah.
He's with more, and he's so young and vibrant and being him, beautiful. But I don't know. The more I think about it, it makes sense that I don't want to see myself murdered like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if you've ever had to see yourself in that light. I've had to do it more than once. It's not something that's comfortable for me. I like to store what I experience, what I feel. I don't know when or how I'm going to use it, so keep it. That's not something I feel is healthy to hold in your spirit. So I don't really fuck with it that much.
I feel that. So obviously, Pac icon. How has working with him impacted your career and just your life?
I don't think I have one without him. I probably wouldn't have got the role in that film without Pac. I mean, he was so intense in the audition process that I felt like when we were in the room together, like if I don't pick up my level to his or better, I'm not gonna get a job. I mean, this kid, you're watching. They were bringing us all in the room, and it was really an intense audition process. And I realized quickly, like if I want one of these roles, I'm gonna have to beat that kid right there. I'm gonna have to be at that level or better, or I'm not gonna grateful in that regard. He's been sort of a North Star of what's possible, good and bad, as far as creativity and work ethic, but also in regards of the dangers and imminent death. When it's that close to you, the facts of how easy it is for a black man to lose his life, you just can't look away from it. You know what I mean? And gratefully, there are many people that I know personally that don't have that close a connection to that reality.
Right.
You know, and there's just as many, if not more, that I know personally that do have a personal connection to that reality. Be a black man in America. Tell the truth publicly.
And unapologetically, too.
Where you have to live.
Yeah, man. What do you think he would be doing today if he was not just in his career but in his life? If he was still with us, what do you feel like he would be doing today?
I have no idea. I mean, Pop was very unpredictable, and he's dead. So when I think about what he would be doing today, it does nothing but just sort of make me sad.
Gotcha.
So I try not to touch that too much either. Pop loved humanity, and he loved black people. So even back then, he was very socially aware, politically aware. He had a conscience about what was right and wrong and fair. And Pop was very vocal. I loved how he was always ready to fight. I mean, you laugh, but that's problematic. I mean, we live in a culture now where everybody's suing, talking shit online, and talking real stupid and crazy in the comments.
Yeah.
There's like no thought that like I might see you in the street, bro. You know, and then we gotta deal with these hands. Like, people are not prepared to fight. Like, I understand what it is you want. What are you willing to do to get that?
Right.
And a lot of people are willing to talk it out. Not a lot of people are ready to go to the mat. You know, and that is what it is. Pop was always ready. I mean, you wanna go hang, you wanna go bullets, what you wanna do. And there's definitive history to attest to that.
Yeah. Let's shift gears a little bit. Talk about your experience on Girlfriends and Love Jones. Also very important to the culture. What does it feel like for you to know that you've worked on these very significant projects and to forever be cemented in that conversation for you? What is that like?
That's not planned.
Yeah.
That happens. I mean, I got hired on Love Jones off of an audition tape. I was one of the last guys in. I think it might have been one of those things where somebody mentioned my name at the right time. I probably wasn't at the forefront of Ted Witcher's list of cats, because I was curious when I got the script. I was like, how come I haven't seen this? How come my agents haven't been talking about this? So all these other roles, I was like, what about this role? Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, those are all cast already. All right. The script was dope. I was excited to get cast. But you don't know what it's going to be. Love Jones is still one of my favorite films.
It's a dope film. It's a classic.
I mean, when you think about it, like, what's wrong with Me Alone?
Nothing.
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 Not a damn thing. That's why she's still working.
Yeah.
That's why she's still amazing and beautiful and talented and relevant. Because what's wrong with her? Not a damn thing.
Facts.
What's wrong with Larenz Tate? Not a
Nothing.
damn thing. So I love the fact that the folks from my era
Mm-hmm.
are still killing it. You know, there's no dumb shit. There's no controversy of silliness. You know, you don't see me online with her booty out. I mean, we're talking about, even working with her, I was happy how much care she took with her work and how much it mattered to her. Ted made a point to get us together before we went to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
We actually lived close to each other in Los Angeles. And so I went by the house and hung out with her and her mom and chilled with them, which was, when Ted told me that, I was like, bet. He was like, here's his number. I was like, life is getting better by the moment. I go over there. All right, so how fine do you think Lynn's mom is?
Fine. Probably. She got to be.
Crazy. I was like, ladies, what do we have for dinner? Amazing. Two great, spiritual, lovely women. I mean, I love being able to look back now and see, you know, these people doing their thing still. You know, and then there's Lisa Nicole.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Lisa Nicole Carson?
Yep.
Yeah. I worked with her on Love Jones. I worked with her on a pilot called Divas. That was dope. I wish we would have got a chance to do that. It was a really, really cool project. She's a perfect example of somebody who's brilliant. She's a wonderful actor. She's so dope. But this business will cast you aside so quickly. And more so us than anybody else. I mean, you're looking at COVID-19, how we are impacted more so than everybody else. Why? Because of socioeconomics. You know, there are so many poor people without resources. No, I don't have insurance. No, I don't have money to buy medicine. No, I don't have money to eat the right food to keep my immune system up to par. No, I don't have, you know, even the knowledge of what the right foods to eat. We don't have organic in our neighborhood. We don't have, like, just stuff. But even in the industry, somebody like Robert Downey Jr., who had a serious problem with drug addiction, they bent over backwards to make sure he kept a career and that he got the treatment he needed. You haven't heard anything from Lisa.
Yeah.
I mean, we are very disposable. And young folks of color that are getting into this business need to understand that those are the facts. Like, you are on your own. You need to really form bonds with your people, your fan base, and your people, because that is what's going to hold you down over the long haul. The business structure of Hollywood, of the entertainment industry per se, you're just a commodity. So, I mean, don't take it personal, but that's really what it is.
Yeah, you might have just answered this with your prior answer, but what for advice for up and coming actors, either going to New York, LA, Atlanta, what do you have? What pieces of advice do you have for people who may be listening in terms of navigating their career?
Have something to say.
Love that purpose.
I mean, have something to say. Have something to offer to the culture. Have something in your back pocket that is of value to not just you, but to those that you love and care about. Because that will give you the strength to keep going. So many people quit because it's a hard road. It's a very difficult road. But if you really feel like you have something to share with the culture, you have something to share with your people, and this is the stage. This is the podium. You're gonna keep going until you get that off your chest. You know, I mean, I've been in the business almost 30 years now. So I think this is year 28, 29, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if not for me wanting to stay, needing to stay, deciding I could have quit 15 years ago.
Yeah. Well, Charles Weldon, the late Charles Weldon, who was the artistic director for Negro Ensemble Company, what was his impact on you?
Charles Weldon validated a lot of what I thought. So there are thoughts that go through our head about like philosophy and action and health and whatever, how we walk in the world. But sometimes as young men, we're unsure, like if that's the right way to go. Like, am I crazy or am I right? That was something that I saw Pop go through a lot. You know, he knew he was right. He knew, it's like, I know I'm right. But then I got 50 people telling me I'm crazy. 50 people telling me I'm wrong. When I know in my heart that I'm right. How do you know? It's wonderful when you have someone that's older, that you can look at as a mentor, that you know has already been where you want to go, validate your thought process. Now, what I got from Charles is that it's not chess, it's checkers. Like stop with all the trigonometry, the addition and subtraction. And we got to it because we were working on a play called The Great Mac Daddy, and I was in a discussion with the director about a scene, and I was like very cavalier about my choices and how simple they were.
Mm-hmm.
And where this white director was going seemed one off base from what the playwright intended, and just doing the most, you know what I mean? Like, simplify your choices so that you can make a choice today, not tomorrow, not an hour from now, not a week from now. I mean, I've been able to sort of take out as much as I can in my life. That's been a conscious effort. I don't like being asked a question or asking somebody a question the first thing he hears. No. Wrong. Answer and stand on that. Be wrong. It's okay. We're gonna be wrong. Charles, even when I was in his play with him and he's already, it's cool, you're gonna be wrong. Hearing him talk to actors and tell them, please try some shit. Like, be wrong today. It's okay. You're not being graded on this. Like, we're working. Get up there. Strive, like, for the magic. If you're really going for, like, that magic, you're going to fall down a whole bunch of times. But all of that's going to be worth it when you finally tap into, that magical moment. Oh, shit, now once you touch it, you know you can do it, then find a way to do it again. It's very difficult, but very simple. And I watched Charles work that way. And I watched him achieve magic on stage, and he was really dope. You worked with Charles, yes?
Yeah. I was in Soldier's play that he just did, and
I mean, Charles was a gangster, dude.
He was.
I loved that. I mean, just his honesty, his smile. He cursed like a sailor,
like a motherfucker.
Yeah, Charles was dope, man. I miss him, and like he had a really good eye of tapping into like what you needed, and he was generous in the fact that he really wanted to give everybody what they needed. Like, whenever I showed up, man, Charles treated me, he treated me like a superhero. He was like, yo, Khalil Kain. Ladies and gentlemen, Khalil Kain is here. Yeah, I'm like, he didn't have to do that. And I'm not that guy. Like, I don't need that. When new people meet me or they're working with me, depending upon the situation, they're trying to sort of figure out, well, how do we navigate this so that Khalil's comfortable, whatever. I'm chilling. I don't need that. My ego doesn't need that. I always come to work. I'm humble. I love, I love other artists. Charles didn't care about that. Charles wanted me to be a king. Charles wanted me to be a star. Charles wanted me to tap into that. Tap into that shit. Be that dude. Like, no, don't be humble. He used to be like, Charles, and he was like, nah, man, you're a star. Let's go. Come on, I feel like his level of commitment to this struggle of black art was real.
Real. Absolutely.
Was everything. In my opinion, he gave his life to that. He never stopped. In the face of failure and bullshit, like, he just kept pushing, knowing that it wasn't going to be what he wanted it to be. So what?
Yeah.
I think that's a huge lesson for me. Even just saying that out of my mouth, Charles. Because I do the same thing. There's half the stuff I've been involved with in the last 5 years. I knew it wasn't gonna be a huge hit or some giant but I did it anyway. It moved the needle for those around me. It made me a vessel of change and use for those around me that are aspiring to what I already have. The generosity needs to be built and between us.
Yeah.
As a people, for us to move to where we want to go, like, that has to be a component that is unquestionable. And that was something that I had with Charles. Like, I trusted him like that. Like, I knew he had my best at heart. He wanted something good for me. And he didn't want anything but that from me. He made me stand on my word. I appreciate him for that. He was a real one. He told me that he saw himself in me. And that was a huge compliment that I will never forget.
That's beautiful. Tell me about your new play, Lambs of Slaughter. Where did you get the idea? Tell me about that day where you got the idea to write that.
I don't know. I think 94, 95, I was shooting a film called Renaissance Man with Penny Marshall. Danny DeVito started it, Gregory Hines started it. It's like me and Hardison, Richard T. Jones, Mark Wahlberg. It gave me time to spend with Gregory Hines. That was huge for me. But during that time, we shot 7 weeks in South Carolina at Fort Jackson on this military base, and we shot another 7 weeks on the Sony lot, all the interiors in LA. When we got to LA, we had already shot 7 weeks worth of film. Now we're on the studio lot and we're grinding it out. My first cousin, Dorian Lum, got murdered. He got shot in the back. He was running away.
Damn.
And it was one of his homeboys that shot him. Now I find this out. I know this kid that shot my cousin.
Damn.
I go to production and let them know that I would like to go home for the funeral. I'm like, this was my dude, my first cousin. So he was the oldest child of my Aunt Joan, and I'm the oldest child of my mom June.
Mm-hmm.
So we were just we were the oldest. They told me I couldn't go home. That the schedule didn't allow. Now, Penny Marshall, God rest her rehearsal. Penny's from the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
Penny was like, look, you're a grown man. You do what you want. I can't stop you from getting on a plane and going to New York. And I also can't give you permission to leave because our schedule is too tight and I can't let you leave right now.
Right.
So you choose what you want to do. Now, this is a studio picture, Sony, Disney, the whole shot. If I just up and bounce, like, I'm killing myself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to make a call as far as what's really important to me, and I chose my career, and I didn't go home for the funeral. Now, there's a certain level of guilt that I held on to probably still to this day for not being there. But I didn't go, and then I sent for my younger brother and brought him to LA because I knew what he was about to. So I brought him to LA to keep him from getting in any trouble. But it's something that sat on my spirit for a long time, man. I needed to exercise it somehow. So I come to New York, I moved back home right after, I think it was like 2 years after we shot for Colored Girls. I moved back to New York and I wanted to do something for the city. So it was the 20-year anniversary of Juice. I threw a big party uptown in Harlem. I got 2 of the theaters, at the Magic Johnson Theater up there, and did screenings of the film for free. Through a party. I also wanted to raise some money. So I raised some money for a group called Harlem Mothers Safe. And they counsel mothers after they've lost a child to gun violence. I mean, they'll counsel you as long as you want to come. They'll go to the precinct with you. They'll be there at the hospital with you. Like, they are on the ground, boots on the ground. And so I was able to give them a check cut that night. But in researching them, I went and hung out with them. I mean, to this day, they've got a big picture of me at the office, which is love. And I know, the mothers, and hearing their stories of loss and mourning prompted me, along with my own story of loss and mourning, prompted me to write Larenz to Slaughter. And it's very selfish. Like, there's so much that I see Black people walking around with, like, weight, carrying darkness that they really can let go. Like, they don't have to carry that around every day. But how do you let that go? How do you put that down? For each person, that's going to be different. And if you don't decide consciously that I'm going to put this down, you're not going to figure out a way to put it down. And for me, it has been right. Because after I completed Larenz to Slaughter, I have more clarity now on that situation and how I feel about it. And I can take a break from mourning the loss of that young man on occasion. He's somebody that I loved, so
yeah,
he was blood. But his mother's name was Joan in the play and in real life.
Yeah.
I mean, people that are going to read the play aren't going to know that, but this is facts.
What were the most challenging moments in writing that, and what were the most joyous? If there were any joyous.
So challenging is telling the truth. As a writer and as a creative person with a sort of evolved sense of imagination, having done what I've done for so long, I can come up with sort of this tale of woe, which I did. There was an incarnation of that play where Emmett was actually a ghost, and you didn't realize he was a ghost until the end of the first act.
I actually got that sense a little bit, but yeah.
I mean, and to a certain extent, all of us are, because especially young Black males, we shouldn't have, but most of us have loved ones, patriots, comrades that we've lost and not died, murdered.
Yeah.
There's a big difference. There's a big difference in that weight that carry around every day. That sort of level of darkness that you might have in your eyes sometimes. And that's why, that woman might clutch her purse in the elevator when you get on. You don't mean any harm to her, but that murder, that death is right there on your face. You're carrying it around every day. So I enjoyed it. It was really a wonderful device, and it was very theatrical, the whole ghost, but it wasn't the truth.
Yeah.
And people dug it. I remember when I did the rewrite. Now, I did some work. I went to Pittsburgh and did a production of Pipeline. So we're digging deep into this Dominique Morisseau work. I'm looking at her play. I'm like, I need to go home and do some work on my joint. And I'm like, oh no. I was like, man, there's a richness
and the truth,
and a density to correct work. And as soon as I was done with that, I was supposed to go to DC and Top Dog Underdog. So I go to DC and I did 3 weeks, 4 weeks of rehearsal before I dropped out of the play because the production was just janky. They were on some bullshit. And I was like, no, I'm not going to play myself. So I just dropped out of the production. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. But I did 4 weeks of the work. Suzanne Lori Parks, again, reading this play, I'm looking at her play, I'm looking at my play, I'm like, I need work. So I came back and as soon as I was done in DC, I came back and got into Lambs to Slaughter. And I remember handing it, when I was done, the rewrite to my lady. And she was like, he's not a ghost anymore. What are you doing? That was so dope. How are you going to kill? I was like, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. And you got to be brave enough to kind of make the changes that are going to help your piece resonate with you, the artist,
right,
the playwright. I don't care what everybody else thinks. This now resonates with me in a way that it's humming. When I read it, it's vibrating. I was like, all right, now, cool. Now this is making sense to me. It's telling me the truth. This is an honest expression of my feelings, my thoughts, my emotions. The story that I really wanted to tell didn't have a ghost in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I had to kind of come to grips with that. Just did it. Pulled the trigger.
What do you desire to do next? Besides, if it's not in terms of the play or even after the play, are you writing anything else? Or are you?
Yeah, I have another play ready to go. I mean, this play, Lambs to Slaughter, is at NEC. Karen Brown has committed to produce this play June, I believe, of 2021. Grant's already written. It's good to go. I've already got somebody for music, to do music for the piece. I've got a dramaturge that's already signed on. Like, we're ready to rock and roll. But I already have another play, Uncovered Wagon, that's done, that I'm very proud of. And some people are looking at it right now. That's kind of like the movement. I've got screenplays done. I'm writing. I love acting. I'm going to continue to act, but I need to flex, man. I need to flex my muscles. I need to express myself as an artist, especially in this time with all this unrest. If I did not have writing, I would be out in the street. I would be marching every day and wanting to, scrap with police and, scrap with people. I mean, just the whole vibe, like driving around in your car, people are angry and fired up, polarized.
Mm-hmm.
What am I supposed to do in my house? Write. Have something that will be here when I'm gone. Besides the films, I love these films, these iconic films, like Jews, Jones and Sudan, and for Khalil, whatever. Yo, great, but what else? I mean, that's me as as part of a collaboration in somebody else's work.
You're looking to create some of your own.
I look forward to writing my own things and directing more, and you know.
I feel you.
Just kind of be what I'm supposed to be.
I ask all my guests this on the show. When you think of the word creative, who's the first person that comes to mind for you and why?
August Wilson.
Love that. It's the first time somebody said that, I think. Yeah.
There's a Broadway theater named after him. That is a white money arena. To have a Broadway theater named after you is a huge honor, and it speaks volumes to your impact. What he did was create something for you, Aaron, for me, Khalil, like specifically.
Yeah.
Like I'm leaving this for you. This is a roadmap to help you understand who you are. History is a work of fiction, written by the victors. So, for me, and why I love theater so much is that the play, the black play, is where we can speak our own language, is where we can say what we want, it's where we can tell our story honestly. And there are many black people in America that don't know what that means to them or to us. I mean, that's an interesting question to ask. What does black mean to you? I mean, if you ask that, I would really be curious what my answer would be, what the answer of people would be. I think, just off the top of my head, I think that's a question we need to start asking each other regularly. As we check in, from a place of love and care. But the work that he did for us helps answer that question. If you have any questions, I did Gem of the Ocean at Seattle Rep years ago, and it changed my life, man. Like, it
Who'd you
changed
play?
my whole outlook as a creative person, a black creative person. It has that power. We have that power in the telling of our stories. That's where our power really lies right now. Always has.
Yeah.
The griot. I mean, because it's not economically. It's not in the church. It's there. Those stories. These are stories that we need to create our own history through storytelling. And I think that was, as he moved through the millennium, he told the stories he wanted to tell. These are stories that he crafted, coming from his experience. But now it's a marker for us.
Yeah.
Historically, from a literary standpoint, even from a place of being able to speak my own language, being able to have the confidence to say things the way I say them, and have that be all right, and to have confidence in that. There was a level of confidence in what he put down as a playwright that is unprecedented.
Yeah.
To have the confidence to just say, yeah, I'm going to say it like this. Or I'm going to say all of that. No, I'm not being edited. I'm not being shut down. I'm not being misdirected by economics.
Yeah.
This is for my people. And with that example, I'm writing the very same way. It's for me. But because it's for me, because it's nourishing me, I have the distinct feeling that it can also nourish you.
Absolutely.
Did you read the play? Did it resonate with you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I lost my father to gun violence. I have one of my best friends lost his brother to gun violence. It's real. It's real. So it's yeah, absolutely. Where can people follow this play? It's going to be at NEC. Obviously, we don't know because of COVID.
Yeah, we're gonna start ramping up soon with NEC, but I mean, because of this whole COVID thing, everything's up in the air right now.
Mm-hmm.
There are no definitive schedules, and even with that, I'm working on studio pictures. Marketing comes out, and when it comes out, I'm not worried about it. I'm doing my work anyway. I'm just working. You know, things are happening. I believe in organic ascension. I'm not going to rush, and I'm not going to push. I will push back,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not going to push. I'm healthy. I feel good. I'm confident in what I've created. I know it will find a home and a place to be seen, to be heard in time. I mean, even I could not have predicted the career I've had. And it doesn't come from any sort of want or desire to be famous or to be. I just am, and I always have been. You know, I've always trusted that what's for me will be there for me when it's the right time. So I haven't really been too pressed about any of this. I'm just continuing to create.
Love it. Khalil Kain, thanks for being on, man.